Hi, my name is Joel Emsley. I am the studio art director at Infinity Ward.
And I am Stephen Miller. I'm the audio director at Infinity Ward.
This is Isaac Rouse for HYPEBEAST, and we're gonna get right into it. Can you immediately just tell me like first things you notice, first things you like? Just go in there and talk about it.
Well, I like the contrast on your the way we're looking at this right now. This is one of our larger maps, and one of the challenges we had to do is take a good look at the atmospherics in the environment, but not damage the gameplay.
Right.
So I'm kind of hoping that based on your experience, you were actually able to identify threats at range because it's such a larger map. And I'm seeing looks like you got an AK with an aim point on there. Did you gunsmith the weapon before going in?
Absolutely. I felt like it was a necessity to do so. I kind of messed around with all the rifles that I could, some of the semi-automatic, like the SMGs, and kind of played around with it.
It looks like you've got a red dot and a laser dot on that too.
Got a laser dot.
Nice.
Like you talked about, as far as distance goes, like the mounting feature really helps with that. I kind of get a little happy with that a little bit later. Could you kind of talk about the mounting and sort of the customizations and the overall realism push?
Yeah, so I think you saw Mark Grigsby up on the stage with Steven too. Like they both went for a very realistic, visceral gunplay. Getting that in there. And one of the mechanics that you're talking about with being able to do a vertical mount and a horizontal mount, it became more important when we got into these larger maps. It was originally kind of to answer the need that you would have inside a close quarter environment. So like say a level like Townhouse in single player. And that's where it kind of started, and it was basically kind of a little bit of a throwback to the original Call of Duty, which had a lean mechanic. But we were trying to find that to get back a similar mechanic like that let you do a tactical turn around corners. But this being one of our dog, like we call it our dogma, is consistency across modes. We needed to make sure that same mechanic that worked on a tactical Townhouse in single player translated to multiplayer. And I think something that you responded to, and I love myself, is when you have a big map like this and an AK that kicks like a mule, you can mount up and take pot shots at people from yards away and really give them a hard time and maybe a couple headshots.
Especially if you go and put that longer barrel on it and really be able to put it out at range.
Throw a muzzle brake on it, all that good stuff. I think that's what's so fun about the Gunsmith is that, I've been seeing a lot of people react to our some of their content we're releasing, and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, it kicks too much" or "it kicks too little." And really, what Gunsmith does for you is it lets you tailor make that weapons platform to your style of gameplay. If you're running gunner, you might not even mind the punching power of an AK that has a lot of recoil on it. That might be okay short range, but if you're going to be taking longer shots, you might want to reduce that recoil a little bit.
Yeah. And if you're like me, I pick a gun based off of how it sounds, and you're a man of great taste. The AK I have a real soft spot for. Back when we were recording weapons on the original Modern Warfare, it was the first that I got to fire in fully automatic. So it's always just had that soft spot in my heart. But also there's so much just kind of character to the way an AK sounds compared to a modern rifle. It really kind of is unique.
Looks like you're stuck in a white like the on the perimeter or the feather's edge of a white phosphor attack right here. We're looking at 5 flag Dom, 20v20. Awesome. So I would mention that this is actually just the tip of the iceberg with player count. We're actually screwing around with player counts over 100 right now, and larger maps than this. So get ready, because things are going to get super ground war.
And as far as you said, as dogma, that kind of idea spreads across several modes, I'm assuming.
And several disciplines too. For all of us, if we're talking about realistic and gritty, that is how it looks, how it sounds, how the characters move, making sure that they fit in their space.
I can't tell you how happy I was here. Earlier today, I was talking to someone that had been playing the game for the first time, and they described a moment where they used verticality, mantled up into a building, they had an opposing team of like a 4-person fire team in the building, like holding down the first floor. He mantled up onto the second floor, dropped down from behind everybody, and completely wiped out the entire team. And I haven't heard a moment like that happen since the original Modern Warfare 1, or like Call of Duty 4. And then even, when I first was playing Call of Duty 1, which I came on Call of Duty 2, I think Steven came in right after that with me. That was the name of the game. I would go on breakcore and I would flank all the way around, and it was made in such a way where I was able, as a player, you're able to get the drop on people, and that's incredible. So to hear that happening into the game today, just like it put a huge smile on my face. I hope that you got maybe some experiences like that, where you're able to kind of flank around. If you can be quiet enough, you can kind of get the drop on people.
And you do have to be quiet, because everything now with these larger maps, the sounds can be heard so much further away than they ever have before.
Absolutely.
And as we get into even larger maps that Joel was talking about, there are sounds that
you got nailed.
6-7 times further away than you've ever heard them before. For weapons, explosions, your footsteps can be heard much further than you could before. We've also added a mechanic, you may have heard it while you were playing. If you're inside a building and there's somebody up above you, there's different footstep sounds and stuff for people walking on the floor above you, so that it feels right in the space and is a tell immediately, whether you're in stereo or full surround, that that's somebody's above me.
That's crazy.
Frag grenades is so much more gratifying because of that sound. You see the dust fly everywhere.
Oh yeah, you can actually. Not only does the audio is it reflection?
Yeah, there are weapon reflections.
So the when you actually shoot around into a wall, it fragments and kicks up on the dirt. When you look at a frag go off, you'll actually see it deflect off the walls, so it spills out. And then another detail that I love to see in the game, and it's like, you have to kind of like sit for just a second to see the smoke actually blows in the wind and casts a shadow on the ground. So some of the particle effects that we have in the new engine are just it's just so it makes it feel so like powerful, and you get all this depth to everything. It just adds layers to the environment for you.
That's interesting. What engine is this? This isn't Black Ops 4 engine, is it?
No, this is a new engine developed by Infinity Ward and a lot of different helpers in the Activision family. We have one of the graphics engineers, Michał Drobot, actually started Infinity Ward Krakow in Poland, and this effort, on the new engine started about 5 years ago, and it's just been evolving. I came back to Infinity Ward about 3 years ago, just under 3 years. And the engine had already been in development then. I sat down with Drobot, and he showed me a buffet of features that are basically the culmination of what we're looking at right here, the lighting model, the way that it shadows, the way that things are allotting, the material description, the way that we're doing IBL's image-based light probes in the environment, the way they blend to each other. It just grounds everything together. So it does all of that, and I'm oversimplifying. It does much, much more. It also allows us to build levels that I never even thought possible in a Call of Duty game. Like we're at a level now where the real estate, the square footage is getting really obscene, like crazy. So it's really cool. That's why I'm saying this Anya level is really huge for a Modern Warfare map, but it goes bigger.
Yeah, it's huge, and the layout is intricate. Also, there's lots of high places you can get to, medium kind of places you can get to, a lot of buildings you can.
Oh yeah, there's power positions and hidden spaces that you can get into and defend. And
the way that these are laid out is we have a wonderful multiplayer team, but we had two guys, Jeff Smith, come back in the role of multiplayer director, gameplay director, and then Alex Roysowitz. Two guys that had a tremendous amount of experience with levels like MP Crash and Block, Overgrown. I could go and Strike. All these there's a lot of heavy hitter maps in there, and even when we go bigger on these maps, I think something that you'll see it's really hard to balance once you start going into larger maps like this is the gameplay doesn't feel so tight, so the engagements aren't well balanced. But something that Alex and Jeff bring to the table is we're actually able to go big with these environments, but still keep the gameplay feeling really good. They don't just arbitrarily place cover in the environment. They're always thoughtful about engagement distances and what weapons you're carrying into that fight.
And they craft the areas so that if you're a shotgun guy or you're an SMG guy, there's going to be areas of the map where that's best suited for you. Or if you're a sniper, you're going to be able to get up into that power position and really take the long range shots. But there's a little something for everybody. You just have to find your spot.
I love seeing these higher player counts, man. It makes me so happy. Yeah, I love it.
I was just happy to. Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't know how long the match was like how the points structure was going until like I saw this.
It looks like actually a decently close game too.
Was.
I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, and having those points of power, those dom flags, just draws all the combat into these clusters, and you get all the energy going. It's so fun.
Well, I think that's it, guys.
Good deal, man.
As much as
Right
I
on.
wish we could keep going,
We
I wish
could
I
geek out all day with this. We could go on.